The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor and take seats. All members of the House of Representatives will please report to the floor and take their seats. The clerk will ring the bell. Have a seat. Thank you, sir. All members will please take your seats. All right, we're going to have our morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Well, good morning. Let me give you some instructions. Today is Panoramic Photograph Day. My favorite day of the entire session. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do as we do every day and start with our devotion, the chaplain, and we'll do the pledge. After the pledge is completed, I'm going to ask that you will hold up and you can greet our chaplain a little later. But stay close to your seats. We're going to be suspended for 5 or 10 minutes while the photographer gets ready. We'll do the photograph after the devotion and the pledge and before the report from the Committee on Information and Audits. So just please hang tight around your seats and don't make the line up here today. The chaplain will understand. We will explain that to him. And the photographer just reminded me, you can use that 5 or 10 minutes to clean your desk off. So you look very presentable. So that way he won't have to tell you again. We will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 35th House District, the chair of the Science and Technology Committee, Chairman Ed Setzler. Chairman Setzler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is an honor today to bring to you my pastor and his wife, Father Andrew Moore is the pastor of the St. Stephen Antiochian Orthodox Church in Hiram, Georgia, in House District 67, represented by Representative Gravely, very near Representative Gravely's home. Father Andrew is a pastor in the ancient faith of the Eastern Orthodox Church, where for the last 40 years he's been the pastor of St. Stephen. He's my spiritual father, as we talk about in a world where all too often people's church ties are temporary and sort of fleeting. He's my, as I have such a deep relationship with my earthly father, he's become my spiritual father over the last decade. Father Andrew was born in Dothan, Alabama, but finished high school in East Atlanta at Murphy High School, where after high school he attended Georgia Tech. In fact, on the Georgia Tech freshman basketball team in 1956, 1957, he played alongside as one of the two guards with a future member of this body, future United States Senator Sam Nunn. Father Andrew was the point guard, Sam Nunn was the shooting guard, and after that year they decided the basketball was not their life's calling, and they decided to move in other directions. He's joined today by his wife Danny. Of course, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, many pastors are married. They have 6 children. And before we move further, I'd just like to recognize our pastor's wife, Korea Danny, today for being with us. She moved to Atlanta in 1958 as a nursing intern at Grady Hospital. And they've been married for nearly 59 years. Father Andrew graduated Columbia Theological Seminary in Decatur, Georgia in 1960s. Before he was the pastor of churches from Kingsport, Tennessee, Woodlawn Presbyterian Church in Mableton, Georgia, and then founded St. Stephen in 1979. Its original location on Grant Park, right on the intersection of Augusta and Cherokee Street. An old gas station down there is where they first started their church in 1979, ministering to the inner city neighborhood that many of us know very well. They moved to Paulding County in 1988 and built the growing church we still have today, a church where more than half the members are under the age of 18, and again, growing both in numbers and in depth. Father Andrew and Curry have been known for the food locker and for the love of people in that community, people that are down and out and really have very little other options in terms of where to turn for sustenance and for support, and have literally loved more people than we could ever count into the kingdom of God. So it's my honor to introduce to you today my pastor, who, as pastor of St. Stephen Church, is being the hands and feet of Christ to so many people in Northwest Georgia. And it was it's my honor to present to you today Father Andrew, my pastor.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me this time to speak with you. I really appreciate Speaker Rawson's warm welcome and Ed Setzler's invitation. I think I appreciate that. But we also are proud to be represented by Micah Gravely and Joseph Gullett, who is in our neighboring district. And it's an honor to stand in this chamber. Awesome, isn't it? Where you represent nearly 11 million Georgians. It occurred to me the other day that every time you raise your hand or punch your button, you speak for, on the average, 60,000 people. There are many things in this life that I don't know. And the older I get, I'm more conscious of that. But I stand before you today knowing one thing for sure. God loves you. God loves all of us. And I believe most, if not all of us here today would believe that. But I ask a question, how do we know that? How do we know that's true? May I offer a simple story? And I didn't know if I could bring a yardstick this morning, so I didn't. But there was a casual conversation between two friends, and it escalated very quickly into quite an argument. I'm 7 feet tall. No, you're not. My parents always said I'd be 7 feet tall. How did they know? Well, you're no taller than I am. Well, I was always the tallest fellow in my class. And on and on and on it went. Meanwhile, a young lad was standing nearby, and he picked up a yardstick from Home Depot, no doubt, and he walked up over to the wall, and he began to mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 feet. And the young man said, "Mister, why don't you just back up against the wall?" You know, our Lord said, "I love you. I love you." And he's backed up against the wall to prove it. The wall of truth. "I love you," he said, and he created us in his image. "I love you," and he sent his Son into the world to become human just like us. "I love you," and Jesus willingly suffered the death of the cross for us. "I love you," and he laid in the tomb for 3 days. "I love you," and he rose on the 3rd day, destroying the power of death. "I love you," and he ascended into heaven and is come with a promise to come again for us. "I love you," and he backed up against the wall. And that same Jesus then said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength, and your neighbor as yourself." So therefore we must ask ourselves, do we love God? And most, if not all here, would say yes. But how do we know that? How does God know that? How does God know we love him? Early one morning, Jesus asked his friend and disciple Simon Peter, "Simon, do you love me?" 3 times he asked that question, and 3 times Peter said yes. But also 3 times Jesus said, "Then take care of my people." And since that day, since that time, every pastor and priest and bishop and teacher in God's church, for them, this has been the measure of our love for God. We all have been called to back up against the wall and take care of God's people. And this morning I would humbly and respectfully suggest that that same measure applies to the public servants, you here and all over the nation, who represent us, the people of Georgia. Take care of my people. There's coming a day when Christ will return in all his glory. All nations, all people who ever lived will stand before him for that great day of judgment. But I wonder if a hush will fall over that gathering as Jesus may step down from the throne, pick up his divine yardstick, and step over to the wall. I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. And then Jesus turns to us, and he says, each one of you, one by one, come back up against the wall. Brothers and sisters, the people of Georgia need you. We need your wisdom, justice, and moderation. We need you to love God with all your heart and your soul and your mind and your strength, to love us and to love one another as you love yourself. Some may ask, how can I live up to God's measure? How can I measure up to God's expectation of me? And I'm here to say this morning that the same God who loves us will also help us. So may I offer a few words of encouragement from a simple poem I found when I was just a youngster. It might have taken place at an auction on a Saturday night somewhere across Georgia. 'Twas battered and scarred, and the auctioneer thought it scarcely worth his while to waste much time on that old violin, but he held it up with a smile. A dollar, now two, only two, $2, who'll make it three? $3 once, $3 twice, and going for three. But no, from the room far back, a gray-haired man came forward and picked up the bow. And wiping the dust from that old violin and tightening up all its strings, he played a melody pure and sweet, sweet as an angel sings. The music ceased, and the auctioneer, in a voice that was quiet and low, said, "Now what am I bid for this old violin?" And he held it up with a bow. $1,000. Who'll make it two? 2,000, and who'll make it three? 3,000 once, 3,000 twice, and going and going and gone, said he. The people cheered, but some of them cried, "We do not quite understand. What changed its worth?" Swift came the reply, "The touch of a master's hand." Today across Georgia, there's many a life out of tune, battered and scarred by sin, to be auctioned cheap to the thoughtless crowd, much like that old violin. A broken heart and empty soul, a game, and he's passing on. He's going once, he's going twice, he's going and almost gone. But the master comes, and the foolish crowd never can quite understand the worth of a soul and the change that's wrought by the touch of the master's hand. May the master touch your heart and mine so we can touch others with his love. May we stand and pray together. Our Father and loving God, thank you for the members of this body. We ask you to be always present with them, their families, and those they represent. Grant them the grace to be wise yet simple, strong yet humble, courageous yet fearful. Keep them ever conscious of your love and ever grateful for your mercy as they lead us, the people of Georgia. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. May we pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Speaker Walton. I appreciate it so much. God bless you. Thank you.
That was a real treat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please tell my doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Okay, I'm about to yield control of the chamber to George Pearl. Before I do, I'm going to ask our guest on the floor to please exit. You can go to the anterooms. You can wait on us outside until this was only for members and the staff that have been approved prior. So the sooner we can keep all this going, the sooner this will be over. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been doing this for 41 years here. Mr. George Pearl. It's on now if you want to turn it off. Okay, I'll leave it on.
How snappy.
Okay.
Don't forget to take your gun.
Right.
I marked your spot out there with some green tape. Good morning. My name's George Pearl. I run Atlanta Legal Photo Services and Atlanta Panorama. Some of you lawyers know me by ALPS. I've been running my photo business here in Atlanta since 1978. As the speaker said, it's 41 years now. I started shooting this panorama group picture back under Tom Murphy. Maybe you remember old Tom. He was quite a character, and that's when I started this, and I have continued it now every other year to allow some new people to come in to the photo. And if you've never been in a panorama group picture before, I do a little work with the camera spinning around, and you need to do a little work too by sitting still and waiting for the camera to reach your position. And this is what we're aiming for. It's a long, skinny photo with hundreds of people in it. When I'm taking this picture, some of the people in this room are actually behind my camera. So that's why we do the panorama. It rotates around and captures the people in the back also. Everybody will be equal. Now, the state of Georgia doesn't pay me to come down here and do this. I do this free of charge. I shoot it free of charge, and I'm hoping that my panorama picture will be good enough to where y'all will want to order one. And next week, I'll have a display set up here in the ante room and some order forms. And we provide the pictures by themselves or framed if you like. And I try to get all the orders in as soon as possible so that I can deliver them to you in person by hand to your office before the session is over. So that's how it works. And now I need to climb up on the desk here to do this picture. I hope you've gotten everything off of your desk. I think you have. No bottles. Okay. So I'm going to climb up here.
did. That did. You keep it another 41 years, you're going to know how to do this. All right, House will come back to order. Mr. Clerk, would you ring the bell? All members of the House will please report back to the floor. Take your seats. We are now going to start doing business. The chair recognizes the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, Chairman Darlene Taylor.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits have read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, 159 moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Report of standing committees. First reading, third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 120 by Representative Morris, the 26th bill being titled an act to amend an act providing a salary supplement for each judge of the Superior Court.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 121 by Representative Bruce, the 61st, Bazemore, the 63rd, Jackson, the 64th, Bodie of the 62nd, Beasley Teague of the 65th. Bill being titled an act to amend an act to incorporate the city of South Fulton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 122 by Representative Trammell of the 132nd, Robichaud of the 48th, Fry of the 118th, Douglas the 78th, Walensky the 79th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 1611 127.1. Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to carrying weapons.
Public safety and homeland security.
House Bill 123 by Representative Werkheiser, the 157th. The bill being entitled an act to amend Section 3414.1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to creation of the State Workforce Development Board.
Industry and labor.
House Bill 124 by Representative Nix, the 69th. Bill being entitled an act to amend an act to reincorporate the town of Central Hatchie in the county of Heard.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 125 by Representative Nix, the 69th, Cook of the 18th, Collins the 68th. Bill being titled an act to amend an act to reincorporate the city of Bowdoin.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 126 by Representative Nix, the 69th, Dickey the 140th, the Smith the 133rd, Werkheiser the 157th, and Gamble of the 15th. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Department of Labor.
Industry and labor.
House Bill 127 by Representative Corbett of the 174th. A bill being titled an act to amend an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 128 by Representative Silcox of the 52nd, Welch of the 110th, Fleming of the 121st, and Kelly the 16th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 3 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the authorization and general requirements for the transaction of insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 129 by Representative Stevens, the 164th. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 4, Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding dangerous instrumentalities and practices.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 130 by Representative Nix, the 69th, Dickey the 140th, Gamble of the 15th, Jaspers the 11th, Glanton of the 75th. Bill being entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the State Board of Education.
Education.
House Bill 131 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, LaHood of the 175th, Ridley of the 6th, Rhodes of the 120th, and Saints of the 180th. A bill being entitled an act to amend Code Section 4286 the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to special license plates.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 132 by Representative Williamson of the 115th, and Kelly of the 16th. Bill being entitled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the imposition rate and computation exemptions from state income taxes.
Ways and means.
House Bill 133 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Dryer of the 59th, Cannon of the 58th, Hutchinson of the 107th, Cowsh of the 50th, and others. Bill being entitled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 2 of Title 20, the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to the Quality Basic Education Act.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 134 by Representative Rich of the 97th, Abstration of the 104th, Moore of the 95th, Kennard of the 102nd, Silcox of the 52nd, and others. Bill being entitled an act to amend Chapter 15 of Title 36, the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to county law libraries.
Judiciary.
House Bill 135 by Representative Douglas of the 78th, Powell of the 32nd, Howard of the 124th, Hawkins of the 27th, and Robichaud of the 48th. Bill being entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to health care facilities.
Human Relations and Aging.
House Bill 136 by Representative Douglas, 78th, Smith of the 70th, Cooper of the 43rd, Henson of the 8th, Robichaud of the 48th, and others. Bill being entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 11 of Title 4 the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to general provisions regarding animal protection.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 137 by Representative Bazemore of the 63rd, Walensky of the 79th, Fry of the 118th, Beverly of the 143rd, Bruce of the 61st, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 3 of Article 4 of Chapter 11 of Title 16, the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to carrying and possession of firearms.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Resolution 135 by Representative Abstration, 104, Trammell, 132nd, Ballinger, the 23rd, Cooper, the 43rd, and Smith, the 70th. A resolution urging Congress to eliminate the 5-month waiting period for disability insurance benefits.
Health and Human Services.
House Resolution 136 by Representative Green, the 151st. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Thomas Morton Fort, Jr. and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 2 by Representative Gertler of the 8th, Moore of the 1st, Cook of the 18th, Donahue of the 30th, Caldwell of the 20th, and others. Bill relating to general provisions regarding parks, historic areas, memorials, and recreation. House Bill 12 by Representative Williams of the 145th, Wiedauer of the 119th, Walensky of the 79th, Holcomb of the 81st, Hitchens of the 161st, and others. A bill related to miscellaneous provisions under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 13 by Representative Williams of the 145th, Mathiak of the 73rd, McCall of the 33rd, Blackman of the 146th, Jones of the 167th. The bill relating to sales and use taxes. House Bill 95 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, the bill to amend an act to make provisions for the Magistrate Court of Jenkins County. House Bill 96 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, the bill to amend an act to reconstitute the Board of Education of Candler County. House Bill 97 by Representative Parrish of the 158th, the bill to amend an act incorporating the city of Swainsboro. House Bill 98 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Glanton of the 75th, Beverly of the 143rd, Dryer of the 59th, and Frazier of the 126th, a bill relating to uniform traffic citation and complaint form. House Bill 99 by Representative Smith of the 134th, the bill relating to insurance. House Bill 100 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, the bill relating to public utilities and public transportation. House Bill 101 by Representative Ridley of the 6th, Houston of the 170th, Burkle of the 155th, Corbett of the 174th, and Watson of the 172nd. Bill relating to motor vehicles and watercraft and all-terrain vehicles held in inventory for resale exempt from ad valorem taxation for a limited period of time. House Bill 102 by Representative Martin of the 49th and Dryer of the 59th, the bill relating to property tax exemptions. House Bill 103 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Welch of the 110th, Kelly of the 16th, Holcomb of the 81st, and Newlowitz of the 42nd, and others. A bill relating to general provisions for crimes and offenses. House Bill 104 by Representative Watson of the 172nd, Powell of the 171st, McCall of the 33rd, Meeks of the 178th, and Perkle of the 155th. A bill relating to property tax exemptions. House Bill 105 by Representative Watson of the 172nd, Powell of the 171st, Meeks of the 178th, McCall of the 33rd, and Perkle of the 155th. Bill relating to imposition rate, computation, and exemptions from state income tax. House Bill 106 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Stovall of the 74th, Nelson of the 125th, Jones of the 53rd, Mitchell of the 88th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding driver's licenses. House Bill 107 by Representative Turner of the 21st, a bill relating to burden of proof and presumptions. House Bill 108 by Representative Burnell of the 77th, Glanton of the 75th, Stovall of the 74th, Douglas of the 78th, and Bazemore of the 63rd. A bill to amend an act create State Court of Clayton County. House Bill 109 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Powell of the 32nd, England of the 116th, and Gamble of the 15th, a bill relating to the Teachers Retirement System of Georgia. House Bill 110 by Representative Kirby of the 114th Work Kaiser of the 157th Caldwell of the 120th, a bill relating to payment of employee wages by lawful money, checks, or credit transfer and selection of payment dates by employer. House Bill 111 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Williams of the 168th, Tarvin of the 2nd, Bonner of the 72nd, and Nulowitz of the 42nd, a bill relating to disposition of forfeited property, order of distribution, annual report. House Bill 112 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Cooper of the 43rd, Silcox of the 52nd, Newton of the 123rd, and Hatchett of the 150th. A bill relating to schedules, offenses, and penalties regarding the regulation of controlled substance. House Bill 113 by Representative Carson of the 46th, Lemson of the 12th, Hitchens of the 161st, Belton of the 112th, Smith of the 134th. A bill relating to issuance, expiration, and renewal of driver's licenses. House Bill 114 by Representative Clark of the 147th, Williams of the 148th, Beverly of the 143rd, Paris of the 142nd, Blackman of the 146th, and others. Bill relating to exemptions from state sales and use taxes. House Bill 115 by Representative Turner of the 21st and Tarvin of the 2nd, a bill relating to Uniform Civil Forfeiture Procedure Act. House Bill 116 by Representative McLean of the 100, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Thomas of the 56th, Jones of the 53rd, Shannon of the 84th, and others. Bill relating to minimum wage law. House Bill 117 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, McLean of the 100th, Kennard of the 102nd, Couch of the 50th, Holland of the 54th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding preparation for and conduct of primaries and elections. House Bill 118 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Cantrell of the 22nd, Hitchens of the 161st, Lumsden of the 12th, Gravely of the 67th, and others. Bill relating to obstruction of public administration and related offenses. House Bill 119 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Drenner of the 85th, Turner of the 21st, Smyre of the 135th, Jones of the 167th. A bill relating to mineral resources and caves. House Resolution 96 by Representative Green of the 151st, Houston of the 170th, Parrish of the 158th, Smith of the 133rd, Holmes of the 129th, and others. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Robert Bob Paul Hanner Sr. and dedicating a bridge in his memory. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Cooper, the 43rd District Chairman of the Committee on Health and Human Services, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health and Human Services had under consideration the following bills of the House. It instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 62, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Sharon Cooper, the 43rd District Chairman. Representative Jan Tankersley, the 160th District Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 50, due pass. House Bill 51, due pass. House Bill 52, due pass. House Bill 54, due pass. House Bill 72, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tankersley, the 160th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the standing committees.
The chair recognizes the chairman of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee, Chairman Stevens, for an announcement. House will be in order. We have an announcement by committee chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would members of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meet me in room 341 for a short meeting? Room 341. Thank you.
Okay, we're now going on to the local calendar. Going on to the local calendar. For what purpose does Representative Burnell rise?
To make a motion
State your motion.
that House Bill 72 be removed from the local calendar and be recommitted back to the committee.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 72 by Representative Bernal, the 77th, Clayton County.
On the lady's motion that House Bill 72 be removed from the local calendar and recommitted to the committee from which it was reported, is there objection? Is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Clerk will read the local calendar other than House Bill 72.
House Bill 50 by Representative McCall, the 33rd, Lincoln County. House Bill 51 by Representative Green in the 151st, Quitman County. House Bill 53rd, House Bill 52 by Representative Green in the 151st, Clay County. House Bill 54 by Representative Perkle of the 155th, City of Fitzgerald.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar without House Bill 72? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bills on the local calendar without House Bill 72. The ayes are 155, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. We are now going on to morning orders. We have a busy morning, and we have a lot of guests with us today, so I'm going to limit morning orders to 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each. Chair recognizes Representative Caldwell for a morning order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am hoping that our school is up in the gallery today. We have Compass Prep Academy here today. If you guys are there, go ahead and stand up for me. All right, well, they are somewhere here in the Capitol building. If you guys will do me a favor and just welcome them here today, we're really excited to have them here out of Cherokee County, and just glad that they get to come experience People's House.
Chair recognizes Representative Kendrick for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today is a special day. It's the second annual Georgia Blacks in Tech Day of Action. And we started early this morning at 8 a.m. in room 230 of the Capitol, and you'll hear a little bit later about K through 12 STEAM education. And then you're all invited from 1 to 3 p.m. to join us for lunch for a tech panel in room 230 of the Capitol. But I wanted to recognize some very special guests that came down today in order to lobby some of you for HR 38. So if we have any of the guests that are still here that were at breakfast this morning, if they could stand up, that would be great. They might have already went down to lobby your legislator, so if they call you out, please make sure you go out and give them a warm welcome. Thank you. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Representative Bazemore for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm waiting for Representative Carolyn Hughley. So I just wanted to take this moment to address my colleagues and thank you all that heard that I had surgery. A lot of you heard that I had a car accident while we were out, and that was so. Then you heard part of why I had surgery, but you don't know why. So the reason I had surgery was because I got a diagnosis of cancer. However, it worked out very well. Just want you to know that. And I just want to share my story, that I was going through the traditional way to handle this situation, to handle it, and it was taking too long. I had to find this person, find that person, make this appointment. Everything was taking too long, and I knew the cancer was growing inside of me. So I woke up one morning, and the Lord said, Cancer Treatment Center of America. This is my story, I'm telling you. And I called that morning, which was Columbus Day. And I called them on that Monday. They got me in on that Wednesday. And when I tell you I had a peace of mind, they did everything right there. Everything was there. I didn't have to run around. I didn't have to do anything but go to my appointments. I want to tell you, I want to let you know that it is well, though, because I did not need to have a port. I did not need to have chemo. I did not need to have radiation. But I want to tell you how excellent they were. And I just am so pleased and thankful that I went there and that I got the best treatment, and I am well. So thank you for all your prayers and thoughts. And now you all know from the beginning of the surgery what it was for. Thank you again.
The only member of the Senate that the chair always enjoys recognizing is the Rules Chairman. And I would encourage all of you to befriend him, show him lots of love, respect. I could go on, but I won't. Chairman Mullis is visiting with us today. Chair recognizes Chairman Nix for a morning order. Chairman Nix for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had passed a resolution to designate today as Georgia Automated Merchandise Council Day. And I believe we have some of those folks with us, hopefully in the gallery. Are we still there? Please stand, be recognized.
Good.
These are some of the hardest working folks around. They are the vending people. And if you want to see somebody that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and runs routes, some of them still do that. So if you would give them a hand and welcome them to the chamber.
Chair recognizes Representative Newton to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's great to be here. I'm excited about to have our Doctor of the Day willing to serve us and our staff. Welcome Dr. Kelly DeGraffenreid. She's from right here in Atlanta, in Southwest Atlanta. She's with Kaiser Permanente Group. She's the Program Director of Access and Patient Care Experience. She actually, at 50% of her time, is taking care of patients directly, but the other 50% is trying to train new and upcoming physicians on how to do a better job with that. Has a key goal that understanding that our bodies, minds, and relationships affect our health, something we all know, and encourages patients to celebrate their lives. That's something we all need to remember to do, even if we're far from home. She's a native of Indiana. She grew up in a home with 10 other brothers and sisters in a blended family, so she knows what it's like to stand in line for most everything as the youngest of those. Trained at Purdue University, got a pharmacy degree, then decided to go on and try to find a way she could make a different difference, and so trained at Case Western Reserve in medical school, and then we were fortunate to have her come to Georgia for residency program, something we've talked about in here as we try to solve some of the challenges of primary care doctors like she is coming here. She came here to Emory University. She does have some free time. She plays the piano. She leads some children and others in church and in a church orchestra, I believe we talked about. An avid tennis player and an avid National Football League fan. So please help me welcome and thank Dr. Kelly DeGraffenreid for being here with us.
Wow. First, I'd like to thank you, Speaker Ralston. Thank you, Dr. Representative Newton, and a special thanks to my personal representative, Metz. I'd like to also thank the Medical Association of Georgia for the opportunity to volunteer here. And I'd like to thank all of you in this chamber for your hard work and your service. I am very proud and honored to be here to serve you as a Permanente physician this day after we're all likely motivated and energized by the State of the Union events from yesterday. At Kaiser Permanente, part of our mission is to impact the communities that we serve, and we appreciate what you do to serve Georgia residents and to make sure that they not only have access to, but are able to integrate with a great healthcare system. Permanente physicians care for about 1.6 million Georgians every year, and they do it with a focus on high quality care, looking for good outcomes. And we do it similarly to what the previous representative mentioned, in an evidence-based way and in a team-based approach. And so I'm happy today to be teaming up with Miss Julia in the medical aid tent to be available to you all today. Again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you do that's observed and unobserved in this chamber and outside for the residents of Georgia. Thank you.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 100. Members of the House, we are about to recognize some very distinguished guests that are with us. If you have business that can't wait, we have plenty of places for you to take it. Otherwise, I'm going to ask that you take your seats, suspend conversation, and pay attention to the presentations. Clerk will proceed.
House Resolution 100 by Representative Werkheiser, the 157th, a resolution commending the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance and for other purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing us as members of this body to present some of the brightest individuals in the state. Today we have Jason Moss and Marjorie Dykes with the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, a group that is actually celebrating their 11th anniversary tomorrow night. And he'll tell you about what all they do. But I got involved this past year, and Representative Kirby has known them for several years. But the thing that interested me is many of you have seen shows like How Did They Make This? They do a lot of tours, so I was able to go around Georgia and visit plants and just saw some incredible products being made in Georgia, and it's amazing the amount of products that are being made, and then the networking that they do among themselves. I remember being at one event and they talked about one manufacturer was buying product several states away, and because of his organization, they met, and now they're buying by the truckload. So just all kind of cool things that happen. And like many of you, you walk into a store and you see a rack of batteries, Duracell and Energizer, and there's 2 packs there. They're both $10.99. Which one do you buy? He taught me how to answer that question. And with that, here's Jason Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am the luckiest guy in the state of Georgia because I get to do what I love, and I know a lot of you guys and gals here today are serving our state, and we do appreciate all the work that you do. Because of the work that you do, it's no secret that Georgia's been recognized for the 6th year in a row the #1 state to do business. And a lot of that business is in manufacturing. Manufacturing accounts for about 10% of the Georgia's economy. Many of y'all have manufacturers in your districts. And I'd encourage you to engage with those manufacturers to find out what all the great things that are made here in Georgia. I started this organization back in 2008 because I saw that there was a huge need for manufacturers to be able to connect with each other. I will tell you there is a difference. So let me clarify a couple things. We are the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance. We are an association with the sole focus of helping support manufacturers in the state and help grow manufacturing in Georgia. Now, many of you know the Georgia Association of Manufacturers, Roy Bowen and his team. They are involved in, and they do a fantastic job. Based on the feedback that we have from manufacturers around the state, the Georgia Association of Manufacturers represents the manufacturing community well here in the Capitol. And we're thankful that they do that because politics is not something that we particularly want to get involved with. We're thankful to be here because we know the impact and the connection between corporations and business and government. We've got to have a great relationship there. And again, because a lot of the work that you guys do, we're able to have that. This past year, we had a little over 3,500 people attend events that we hosted, and we hosted 120 events around the state. We had the opportunity to tour some amazing manufacturing facilities, everything from Caterpillar to Coca-Cola to Bluebird Bus to Kia. It's fun to watch a car roll off the factory every 57 seconds, and all the lives that touched. If you watched the Super Bowl, there was a fantastic commercial on the Super Bowl talking about the lives that were impacted by the manufacturing in West Georgia around the Kia facility. So again, we would encourage you guys to continue what you do. We're going to keep doing what we do. We found that, again, the statistics for manufacturing in the state of Georgia, we have over 10,000 manufacturing facilities in the state of Georgia, and that represents about 440,000 people every day go to work making things in our state. And the average consumer can't name 3 things. Now, I know this is an advanced group. I know you guys know kind of the inside track. How many products can you name by brand name that you know for a fact are manufactured in Georgia? Think about it. Some of you are more engaged, but I'd encourage you to make sure that you know everybody in your district that manufactures things. So 5 years ago, we requested from Governor Deal a proclamation declaring July Buy from Georgia Month to bring awareness of products that are manufactured in our state. Last year was the 5th year that we had received that proclamation, and we're very thankful of that because it brought some great awareness. And we did 16 manufacturing plant tours in the month of July. Now, we didn't sleep a lot, but we got to see some pretty cool things. So imagine that you walked into to your favorite retail store, maybe walked into Walmart or Home Depot, and you saw a battery display. One said Energizer, the other said Duracell. Similar products, similar price. We've all bought both, right? But what if you knew for a fact that the Duracells, all the AAA and AA Duracell batteries are manufactured in LaGrange, Georgia, and support over 440 families in Georgia? Which ones would you pick? And if you say anything other than Duracell, we're in the wrong room. So But guys, learn about what's being made here. Plug into some of the things that we've got if you're available. And again, Bill and Tom, we really appreciate y'all's support and all that you do in engaging the manufacturing community. So look forward to seeing you guys out on the road and supporting manufacturers across the state. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 28.
House Resolution 28 by Representative Kendrick of the 93rd, a resolution recognizing and commending Karam Hassan and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Representative Kendrick to present the invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning again, colleagues. As I stated before, today is our second annual Georgia Blacks in Tech Day of Action, and it's for those that are interested in diversity and technology, and particularly policy. We're going to hear from Mr. Hassan, who does K through 12 STEAM education consulting, and with him he has Erica Moore, who is an organizer for the event, Forrest Harper, who we heard from this morning, who's the president of Inroads, Mr. Rodney Sampson, who you heard from last year, who is the co-chair of this event, and from Gail Burgos, who is with TSIS. So without further ado, Mr. Hassan.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you, Speaker Ralston. A little bit higher. Representative Kendrick, thank you for asking us to be part of the Georgia Blacks in Tech Day of Action. My name is Ko Hassan, and I help to facilitate a statewide collective effort called CS for Georgia, Computer Science for Georgia. We are not an organization, we're a network. CS for Georgia's purpose is to bring all of Georgia's computer science education stakeholders together to figure out how to bring quality computer science education to all of Georgia's K-12 students. Our stakeholders include school districts, industry partners, academia, philanthropy. And Georgia DOE kind of serves as an anchor institution. Deputy Superintendent Caitlin Dooley champions a lot of the work we do, but it is a network, and DOE is part of the network with every other entity. And Georgia has certainly made progress over the last few years, and a lot more students are taking introductory computer science courses. We have a lot of other accomplishments under, we also had a computer science task force, as you remember, some years ago, and we got a computer science specialist in Georgia now at DOE, one of the few states in the country that has that. Lots to celebrate. We have K-8 standards now. Lots of great things happening. However, given that the most promising careers in the tech sector require a high degree of computer science knowledge and training and exposure, it is important for us to pay attention to markers of quality in our system and who's getting there and how many kids. We don't have enough children taking the CS Computer Science AP exam. And that's a marker for quality. We need to work harder to get more kids into that pipeline. School districts are also finding that kids in rural areas, girls, young girls, Hispanic students, African American students, are continuing to lag behind in taking the CSAP exam and passing it. For example, in 2017, of 1,568 white students took the CSAP exam, but only 336 African American students took the exam. Just as a marker of the fact that we need to work on some of these gaps are critical. HBCUs, for example, can be an example of institutions that can help engage and inspire more African American students to close that gap. So for all our children in Georgia, we need to work harder to make sure that they're learning the language of the 21st century, which is computer science. It is, every business essentially is a tech business because every business needs to deal with technology, and computer science is the language by which it operates. Thank you for your continued support for investing in the educational and economic future for our children by supporting efforts to expand quality computer science and STEM education for all of Georgia's children. Please feel free to approach us and ask us more about this work, and I thank you again, Speaker Ralston, all of you, and Representative Kendrick. Thank you for having us here today.
Okay, we're going on to the rules calendar. Going on to our first rules calendar.
Clerk will read the caption to H.R. 1. H.R. 1.
H.R. 1 by Representative Ralston of the 7th Burns, the 157th Jones, the 47th Smiley, the 135th, and others. A resolution naming the forthcoming new state appellate judicial complex, the Nathan Deal Judicial Center, and for other purposes.
Clerk will ring the bell to bring the members back to the body. Chair recognizes Speaker Ralston to present the bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Pro Tem. I rise today to ask your favorable consideration of House Resolution 1. H.R. 1 names the new state judicial complex, which is expected to be completed in August of this year, the Nathan Deal Judicial Center. We will pass a number of measures this session, as we always do, which will name a bridge, a highway, or some other public facility for a worthy individual, and this resolution is offered in that same spirit. It only seems fitting that when the new judicial building is dedicated later this year, that it bear the name of one whose entire career has been dedicated to the law and to doing justice, a former assistant district attorney and a juvenile court judge, a very successful attorney. Nathan Deal would go on to be a leader in the state Senate, a congressman, and would become Georgia's 82nd governor. As governor, he has left a tremendous legacy through the appointment of a large number of state and superior court judges, judges of the Court of Appeals, and justices of the Supreme Court. Combined, Governor Deal appointed more than 100 judges to the bench during his time in office. This is a footprint that will endure for many decades to come. Nathan Deal saw the pressing need for a judicial building worthy of the greatness of Georgia. He took the lead on this project, and through his work in partnership with the General Assembly, that facility is rising up just steps from this Capitol today. But his greatest legacy, I think, is found in the lives of Georgians who have been given a second chance as a result of the criminal justice reforms that he championed. Reforms which have provided an alternative to incarceration for nonviolent offenders and which emphasize treatment and recovery over punishment and hopelessness. Governor Deal, through his leadership on criminal justice reform, recognized that for a state to be great, it must be good. I am proud to offer H.R. 1 for your consideration, and I ask for your favorable vote. Madam Speaker, I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? The chair hears none. The Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of the resolution. The yeas were 159, the nays were 2. The resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted.
Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 29.
House Bill 29 by Representative Petrie, 166, Stevens, 164th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend an act to incorporate the city of Skidaway Island, approved May 7th, 2018.
Chair recognizes Chairman Petrie to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I present to you today House Bill 29, a bill that was necessitated by a Scrivener's error in House Bill 618 that we passed last session with only one no vote, a bill that would give the people of Skidaway Island the right to vote on their own determination of cityhood. Unfortunately, there was a Scrivener's error that did not allow this referendum to take place in November. And so this bill, HB 29, is the fix. It's a couple of things. It is first and foremost the fix to the Scrivener's error. Accordingly, because we missed our vote in November, we have now scheduled the very next vote to make it as close as possible to the date we set out to do it, which will be March of this year. And then finally, we added a non-binding referendum, so that if that city council were to raise the millage rate, which they would have a right to do, they would have to have a non-binding referendum in advance of that. Very simply, those were the changes. This bill is supported by all of our local delegation of both parties. And Mr. Speaker, unless there are any questions, I will yield the well.
You don't appear to have any questions.
I yield the
well.
well.
What purpose does the majority caucus whip rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr.
State
Speaker.
your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, I was wondering if the chair might entertain an amendment and consider it germane to entertain any other coastal cities that may have been discussed, specifically one that we already referred to one of our members as the mayor of.
Well, I think if they're in the same on the same coast with the same ocean lapping on its shores, then I think it would be germane.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Speaker. And I know there's a need to get this done today, but maybe the chair would entertain us sending it maybe to committee to let me make that amendment.
maybe you might want to go over to the Senate and talk to them and see about getting it added over there. I think it's probably a very good idea.
Well,
I mean, while we're doing it, let's just do everything down there that ought to be a city.
I agree, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for that.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on House Bill 29? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 29 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 29. The ayes are 164, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing and commending the 2019 Leadership Bullet Class. Recognizing and commending Nettie Washington Douglas. Recognizing and commending John J.T. Johnson. Commending the Milton Eagles football team for winning the 2018 GHSA 7A State Football Championship. Honoring the life and memory of Bishop McKinley Young. Recognizing Colonel George William Stuber upon the grand occasion of his retirement and commending his life of service and allegiance to the state of Georgia. Honoring the worldwide victims of genocide and recognizing March 12, 2019 as Georgia Day of Remembrance of the Armenian Genocide of 1915-1923. Recognizing and commending Dale Murphy for his legendary baseball career. Honoring Georgia retirees and the Georgia State Retirees Association. And recognizing February 6th as GSRA Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing commending Student Athlete Advisory Council. Recognizing February 12, 2019 as Georgia Farm Bureau Federation Day at the State Capitol. Commending and congratulating Colonel Eddie Henderson on his 36-year career with DNR, law enforcement and service to the citizens of the state of Georgia. Recognizing February 11, 2019 as Community Health Centers Day and commending the Georgia Primary Care Association. Honoring the life and memory of Mildred Irene Millie O'Neill Faircloth, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none. The resolutions are adopted. For what purpose does Chairman Petrie rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker.
State your motion.
I move that House Bill 29 be immediately transmitted to the Senate.
Chairman Petrie has moved that House Bill 29 be immediately transmitted to the Senate. Is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is on its way over. Okay, we inadvertently overlooked a morning order this morning. Chair recognizes Representative Park Cannon for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a quote I hope you will all listen to. If you hear the dogs, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. Don't ever stop, keep going. If you want a taste of freedom, keep going. This is a quote by the American abolitionist and political activist Harriet Tubman. Her real name is Araminta Ross. Harriet Tubman was born a slave in Dorchester County, Maryland. Like many slaves, her date of birth is unknown, but her life is celebrated on January 29th, which means that Harriet Tubman is now 197 years old. Tubman made her way to the South several times, helping people escape slavery, and was never caught. During the Civil War, she even served as a nurse, helping the military. When discussing women in combat, it's important to point out that Harriet Tubman, a black disabled woman, was the first woman to lead an armed expedition in a U.S. war. Although she is not from the South, the Tubman Museum is located here in Macon, Georgia. She was a revolutionary, she was unapologetic, determined, and thoughtful. She's an iconic visionary that we must all celebrate this Black History Month. Thank you for allowing me this moment in Black history. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're about to go on to announcements. If you have signed up for an announcement, take positions down front. All other members will remain seated and give attention to the members in the well. Chair recognizes Representative Kendrick for an announcement.
Good morning for the third time. So this is to invite you downstairs. At 1 p.m. we'll have some good Fox Brothers for you for the technology panel. So move us downstairs in room 230 of the Capitol. And we have some amazing speakers to you, and we'll feed you well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Gilliard for an announcement.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, my brothers and sisters in the House of Representatives. I bring you greetings today to come to room 216 and taste the scrumped delicious seafood of Savannah, Georgia. If you like snow crabs and hot sauce like Abel Mabel, and if you like conch like Representative Bruce, and if you are a diehard laborer and you like oysters and you like shrimp like Representative Dewey McClain, come see us in room 216. And in following, we ask for your support in House Resolution 48 for the standing with all of the coast of Georgia for our fisheries and our oceans. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I yield well.
Chair recognizes the chair of the House Appropriations Committee, Chairman England, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in room 341, we will have a full meeting of the full Appropriations Committee that morning to vote out the amended FY19 budget. And one other, just a little side note, this evening from 4:30 until 6, the College of Ag and Environmental Sciences from University of Georgia will be hosting a reception at the Freight Depot as well. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, did you say 8 a.m.?
8 a.m.
So you're letting all your members sleep in tomorrow?
Well, I was trying to get the rules chairman to actually be there too, so you know, 7:30, 7 o'clock is a little bit early.
Well, you might want to make it 11 then if you want him there. But
that's true.
Chair recognizes the chairman of the Minority Caucus, Chairman Beverly, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia House Democratic Caucus will meet tomorrow, 8 a.m., room 216. 8 a.m., room 216, not to conflict with the Appropriations Committee Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Chairman of Appropriations, for putting me on that committee. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Chair of the Natural Resources and Environment Committee, Chairman Lynn Smith, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'm what's called the cleanup batter. If anybody is not on appropriations, then you'll have to decide whether to go to your caucus meeting or come to House Natural Resources and Environment, which always meets at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you can attend, it will be an organizational meeting, and also we will have a presentation from Department of Natural Resources and Environment. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Higher Education Committee, Chairman Martin, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Higher Education Committee will meet today at 1 o'clock, CLOB 606. We're going to hear from the Technical College System of Georgia, the University System of Georgia, Georgia Student Finance, the Georgia Lottery, organize, adopt our rules, and hear House Bill 42. 1 o'clock, 606. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the General Government Appropriations Committee, Chairman Watson, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rural Caucus will meet today for lunch. Upon adjournment, across the road in the Department of Ag, we've got the Georgia Propane Association that'll be coming to talk to us today. So look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hawkins for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Budget and Fiscal Affairs will have a meeting today at 2 o'clock. It'll be our organizational meeting and will not take a lot of time. And it will be in CLOB 506. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Chair of the Creative Arts and Entertainment Working Group, Chairman Dollar, for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. Speakers Committee, or the Speakers Working Group, we will have our first meeting today at 3 o'clock upstairs in 403. Thank you.
That completes our announcements. The chair recognizes the majority leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February the 7th, 2019.
The majority leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Thursday, February 7 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. This House will be adjourned until Thursday, February 7 at 10 a.m.